Hi everyone, I am Apurva and I'm from the marketing specialization at HR. A little about myself, I completed my graduation in electrical engineering and I'm a fresher. And post that I gave my SNAP examination and I joined SCM.
Hello everyone, good evening. I'm Pragati. I'm from HR specialization from SMHRD and I did BTech in computer science. Post that I had 8 months of work gigs and after that I gave SNAP and here I'm in SMHRD.
Thank you guys. Thank you for joining us today. So at this point of time last year, we were all preparing like you guys as well. So we were in the midst of our preparations for MBA colleges. So we can understand actually what is going through with you guys. So today's topic which we have chosen for discussion, leveling up your preparation, is very important considering the time frame that is left, the amount of time that is left for your exams, right? So one thing I wanted to ask you both is, since the preparation is very intense at this stage, what kind of difficulties you guys faced? Apurva, you want to start?
Yeah, sure. So I remember that at this point during last year, I had given a few MBA examinations by this time and I hadn't performed really well. So my complete focus was giving repeated mock SNAP being my primary target. I had realized that I have to practice a lot. So the frequency of the mocks that I gave definitely increased. One problem that I was facing was I wanted to cross a particular threshold of marks, and that I was not being able to. So I knew that there was something lacking in my strategy or the way that I attempted questions. Also, another problem that I really faced was the shortage of questions, because after a point you've given so many mocks that you find the questions also repeated. So after a point, you actually feel saturated giving the same questions again and again. But nevertheless, I had understood that I have to target the questions topic-wise, and my approach should be a more streamlined in terms of both scoring marks and also completing that in the stipulated amount of time.
Pragati, what was your case?
Yeah, actually, Apurva has covered almost all the point. The major challenge that I have faced, while I was preparing for the SNAP or any other MBA entrance examination, that my marks were stagnant. It was really difficult for me to push my score beyond certain level, let's say 35, 38 marks. So my score was completely revolving around these marks only. So again, I increased, as Apurva said, I increased the frequency of the mocks that I used to give in a week. But one thing that I realized is that just giving the mocks and analyzing it is not sufficient. Whatever mocks you have given now, so what you need to revisit it and see where you lack on the regular basis. So that really reinforce the concept, and you will be much more aware of what are your lacunas are. So this is something I feel every aspirant should do.
Yeah, that is really nice. I think a lot of people will resonate with your thoughts. A lot of people are going with that at this point. So how do you keep your confidence in a very in a month like November? Actually, we used to call it scary November back then because it's so many exams and it is very tough for this at this period of time. The pressure is really high. So how do you stay confident at this point of time? Because confidence is the key for a lot of things, right? What was your take on this? How did you guys stay put confident all the time?
So, like when you talk about confidence, I personally feel that your will should be, should be very strong. What's your purpose behind giving any mocks or any examination? So my will was very strong that I want to enter in the best college, in the country. So, and that I did because my will was very strong. And as you said, like it's okay, you feel bad when you score less in marks, but it's okay. After that, you should be, you should revisit it and you should see where did you lack. And this is the key, you have to cover the pieces and move on. That is the only thing that really motivated me, and the will should be strong.
I completely agree with Pragati. But adding to that, what I felt was whenever I scored better marks or slightly performed well in the sections I did not expect to perform, those were the times that I felt really confident about myself. So I decided to practice more and solve more questions of those topics that I thought were my strength already, and improve my accuracy, and at the same time reduce the time that I take for those questions, because I knew that those were my key areas of strength. So I can save time on those areas. That is how, by practicing those questions and repeating those questions again and again, that would give me confidence that yes, if I can reduce the time on these questions, I can put it, apply that time to the areas where I don't really perform well. So that would give me confidence of both managing my time and scoring well in the exams.
Okay. Although a lot of people know that they have to start their preparations quite early, but it is quite normal that a lot of people just start it around this time, right? So since there is only 45 days left for SNAP, how did you guys took care of the vocab part of the exam? Because it's a bit difficult in SNAP. Some questions are synonyms and antonyms, and some vocabulary based questions are there, 2 or 3 questions. So how did you guys target these questions, and how did you go around these questions?
Right. So not just, in fact, be it vocabulary or any other section. So I know that a lot of students start their preparation during this time. This is the prime time. So one thing is in, topic-wise approach of solving the sections, be it the verbal section, like you mentioned, the synonyms and antonyms. Now, since I have only a few weeks left for the examination, I cannot sit and read books or articles and improve my vocabulary. That is something that we do on a long-term basis, right? So I used to practice more questions. In fact, I would like to mention SCMHRD rookie over here, because I remember last year around this time, every day there were a certain number of questions that were released, about 3 to 5 questions, and they were from a specific topic. So I knew that I was going in a very systematic approach to, in my preparation, and I knew I was covering all the topics. Those were the times I would realize where I lacked and what areas I can improve. Speaking about the vocabulary section, I think practice is only the key. Just practice as many questions as you can, because that is how, if you keep repeating those questions, that will stick in your mind. And no one knows, those questions might also come in the actual paper. So that is how I dealt with it.
Yeah. So one more question I wanted to ask. So since I have already put out the word, like there is only 45 days around left for the exam. So do you guys think it is okay? Is it sufficient for people who haven't started yet? How should their strategy be like, actually, considering the amount of time?
Okay, I'll take this up. So 40-45 days, just people just feel that, oh, it's just 40-45 days and I haven't started yet. So it's okay, because SNAP is very general exam and it really tests your basic. If you're sound with your basics, you will be able to ace the SNAP in very, with a very great percentile. So starting with very subtle things, you should not be, it's whatever efforts you have to put in, it's not very extravagant, very subtle things you can ace SNAP. For example, reading habit. If you're having the reading habit daily, if you're reading newspaper or any article of, let's say Mint or any other general or anything like that, it will definitely help you. What will happen is you'll be having a hold on your basics, you'll be having hold on your vocabulary part, you will be able to, because in SNAP, what kind of questions you get? You get vocab based question, you get sentence correction. The reading habit will cover all those things. You are solving, let's say, one mock in the 2 days, you are analyzing it, it is covering all the part. Along with that, whatever parts you are lacking in, let's say Quant or LR part, you are solving topic wise question. So in 45 days also, definitely you can ace SNAP. And in 45 days, let's say you are giving 20-25 marks, it is sufficient to crack SNAP in any way possible.
Yeah, I think that gives confidence to a lot of people out there.
Definitely,
thank you, Prakriti, for that. I was actually planning to take all the questions from the chat in the end, but we have a persistent person who is asking a single question continuously. So we'll take that up now. So Shreyansh Jain asks, does UG college reputation matters, and does non-engineer decrease their chances to get into SIMBI colleges? Who wants to take up this?
Yeah, I don't mind taking this up. So to answer the first, I'll answer the second part first, about the undergraduate marks, right? So the score in your undergraduate, whatever you've scored, does not really matter. See, it all depends. I'm a fresher. So for me, the basis of my interview was completely what I have done until my graduation. So be it academics, be it your extracurriculars, your other achievements, any research paper that you've written, anything on those lines. Suppose you have not performed very well in your acads, there might be some other area where you have actually excelled. It can be anything. It can be sports. It can be any other extracurricular activity. So your interview will revolve around that, and you will be scored or evaluated based on that. It's purely performance and how you answer, and the person, it is completely personality based and your CV based. There's nothing to worry about. Of course, there's a minimum cutoff that you need to score, and I'm sure that most of us do that. Speaking about the first part of the question, does UG college reputation matter? If you are from IIT or say some other really reputed institute, definitely it would add to your credential. But if you're not from a very reputed college, that does not take away your credibility from anything. So you would not be seen, you wouldn't be judged any lower than any other student. You would be evaluated on the same grounds. But of course, if you're from a very reputed college, that might add a little weightage. But again, it is all based on your performance. So that should not be in the back of your head that if your college is not very reputed, it will hamper your evaluation in any way. So I think that is because SCMHRD has a diverse set of students. It has students from all the corners of India, from all the different streams, and from all different colleges. So, and the college actually looks for diversity. So it does not really matter from which stream you are or which college you are. It is all about how you perform in your SNAP examination, and then followed by the GPIVAT process.
I hope Shreyans that clears all your doubts. No need to have such apprehensions. I would suggest you put all your efforts into the SNAP examination now. You're going to come out with flying colors. Okay. So before I get into the discussion, I just wanted to ask, so we are conducting an event called Rookie. You guys have mentioned it already. So can you explain it to the audience what Rookie is, what is its purpose, and why is it being conducted?
So, okay, so Rookie is basically, it's a flagship event of SCMHRD. In that, what we do is, it gives you daily basis on our main Facebook page, Rookie, SCMHRD Rookie page, which is a Facebook page. On that, on a daily basis, questions will be posted, 5 questions. So you have to solve those questions. And on a weekly basis, the winner will be announced, first, second, and third winner. So honestly speaking, I have been the part of Rookie, when I was last year, when I was aspirant. So I really solve those questions. So it really give me the, like booster kind of thing. Okay, I was aware, okay, fine, I was not able to solve the clocks and calendar question. So I really need to practice this question. So it really give you the metric where you can measure yourself, what is your level of performance. So, and as we became the part of SCMHRD, so we have decided now to increase the number of questions. Last year, there were some 3 questions, and this year, you'll be having a 5 question to solve. So it is definitely a good chance for the aspirant that they can learn and earn. So this is something is really interesting, and aspirants they can take advantage of this particular thing.
Okay, thank you. Yes, guys, I also wanted to reiterate the point that the Rookie event which have been doing for the past years, it is again coming forward towards you guys. It's a 30-day long event, and it will have the whole syllabus covered. We try to cover all the topics that are in SNAP. Although SNAP does not proclaim its syllabus, we try to put an extensive list of topics, and these topics will be covered over a period of multiple times. So go ahead and make use of the opportunity. I think 5 questions, it might take you 5 to 10 minutes at max, although you have to try solving it all within 6 to 7 minutes because SNAP is a time extensive exam. So I just hope you guys make use of this opportunity and also win the prizes. Although the prizes are the secondary thing, the most important thing is you get an idea where your preparation is standing right now. And it's just at a click, you just have to log on to the page and solve the questions. The link for the page is in the description of this video. Please go ahead and check the page. Questions will go live from tomorrow. Okay. Guys, one more thing I wanted to ask. Although we have talked about mocks a lot till now, you guys have been telling, I just want you to reiterate the students how to exactly make use of the mocks. Mocks is a tool, everybody knows that they have to use it. So tell them what is the right way to use it.
So I think for me, mocks was the area where I could experiment with my strategy. So be it, suppose if I thought quants was my strength, I would do that first and then go with the logical followed by the verbal section. Then the second time that I gave the paper, I would go with the verbal section first and then the quant and then logical. So mocks is one area where you can experiment the maximum and you can actually gauge your performance, and based on your marks, how accurate you are while performing, how many number of questions you're able to attempt, how much well you can manage your time based on the the how you attempt the questions. That is how you can gauge your performance, and only in mocks you can do that. In the final paper you don't have that chance. So depending on the number of iterations that you do, and then finally you can come to a conclusion that okay, this is your final strategy and this is how you go about. Because in snap you have an advantage, you can switch between sections, right? Usually the other papers don't give that opportunity to all, and there's no fixed amount of time or a minimum time that you have to take for any section or a maximum time. So this is where you can take advantage of it. Mocks, you have to be very firstly increase the frequency, the number of mocks that you're giving in a week, just increase the number. Second of all, you can experiment with your strategy. And thirdly, it's very important to revise. Once you've given a paper, it's important to go through the paper again, see where you made the mistake, and also see the questions that you couldn't really attempt. If you could have attempted, where you should have saved time or where you took a little longer. That is all the analysis part is what you do during giving those mocks.
Okay. One more question I wanted to ask. A lot of students are enrolled with multiple coaching institutes and online platforms. So I am under the feeling, because I have been giving this exam for quite some time, like 2 years at least. So when the first time when I was enrolled for a educational institution, I didn't properly make use of the material or whatever was provided to me. So there are a lot of people who don't know how to exactly make use of it. There is a lot of material in front of them. So what would you guys suggest to them, how to make proper use of it in the 45 days that is left?
Okay, I'll take this up. So actually, one of the mistake that I feel that aspirants usually do in the last 45-50 days, that they start solving material right from the scratch. This is not the right time to do so, because at this point of time you should be thorough with the short tricks concepts. It's not mandatory that you have to solve the material. So what I suggest is give mocks. In that you'll be able to understand, okay, your ratio proportion part is something you're lacking, okay, percentage part is somewhat you are not good at. So then start hitting those points instead of solving whole material, whole book right from the beginning. It's not mandatory. You should hit those, somewhere you're weak in, you should hit that, and later on you can cover those topics. So that will save your time and will your efforts will reflect in the mock, because next time as you have solved those questions, next time when you will be giving mocks, you'll be able to make those questions correct and you'll be feeling motivated, and hence this your marks will increase. This is completely interconnected things. So that will, in that way you'll see that your efforts are really heading the right direction. So this particular thing will definitely motivate you. So start giving mocks, and on that basis understand where you are lacking, and then hit the material, that particular topic to mark. So this is something you should, every aspirant should do.
That is nice. I think we should go ahead and take questions from the chat. We have a flurry of questions that are there over here. So first question I would ask you guys is, this is from Paris. He says, did you guys read word power in your prep? Is it really required to read word power made easy?
Actually, I read that because English was somewhat it was not my strong area. So I was really worried about, and considering Snap in that there are some considerably good number of vocabulary based questions. So yeah, if Word Power Made is a really nice book, there's some storyline and then words are given. So it is really easy for you to comprehend and understand the meaning. So if you are really, if you have time, so you can definitely, carve the window of half an hour and can make use of that. Definitely it's recommendable. This is not something mandatory, but if you're really liking it, then do that. But something I really want you to do is do 1 hour of reading, and post that you can go with Word Power Made Easy, but reading is really important. So yeah, you can do that.
Okay, the other question goes like this. SMHRD IDM program, can you tell us what is the scope for it?
So infrastructure and development management, I think it's one of the most one field which is actually flourishing these days. Very few colleges in India offer this course. SCMHRD is one of the top colleges that offers this, and there are ample number of opportunities that it offers, right from the case study competitions, the guest lectures, the placement opportunities that the college offers. I think students do get a lot of it, and it's a good. I mean, all we do have a good amount of strength in the current batch. People from, of course, there are certain criteria like you have to be an architecture or civil engineer for getting into the IDM course. But as I'm from the MBA core batch, and I do have friends from the IDM specializations, and they are extremely satisfied and happy with the opportunities that the college has offered. Speaking about the scope, of course, since there is a lot of scope, that is why there are so many companies, and demand for this specialization is growing, right? So there is, once you get into this college, enroll yourself in this course, perform well, participate in the case studies and attend the guest lectures, I feel you will have ample number of opportunities your way. So there is a lot of scope for this specialization. It's in fact growing.
Yeah. It's a very
Adding to,
niche
like,
course. Yes, Pragati, you can go ahead.
Actually, adding to Apurva's point that she has mentioned that SCMH, it's a niche course of SCMHRD, not only IDM but also business analytics. So what the best part of SCMHRD is, like, there's a very small batch size. It's just 60 in number. So it really gives you, explore, you are free to explore so many ways. It's a strong alumni base and so many corporate competitions that are, that are available for you. So that really gives you the broader perspective experience. So there's something that you should really apply for.
Just to reiterate, the courses, you have to be an engineer of any background or an architect or a planning background. You can apply for this course. Yeah. So I'll go into the next question. We do have someone asking this as well. A lot of people actually. How do you prepare for vocabulary? I know you guys have covered a lot on it, but still probably you can tell them once more.
As I said, like, instead of just focusing on vocabulary part, I really focused on, reading part. So while reading, there were so many obviously words comes your way, and I was having this habit to maintain a book. I used to write the meaning and I used to revisit it again and again. So in that way, I was having a good hand on vocabulary part. So I was not really focusing on vocabulary, but on reading. So on reading, it really helps you with the sentence correction, para jumbles. So the summary part. So reading gives you much broader, much broader understanding, not only vocabulary. So I suggest focus on reading. Vocabulary will take care of itself while doing that.
That's good. One more question is, can I get good marks in Snap in 2 months prep? I just started my prep. I think, I think you can give a lot of confidence to this person. Yeah.
Definitely. I think Snap is one examination where the question's difficulty level would be moderate. It's only the speed that matters. And what you need is practice for cracking this exam. So 2 months, I know that it's a bit late to start, but nevertheless, you can definitely crack SNAP examination. It will only require proper intensive amount of practice. And since I think Anirudh did mention that there is no perfect syllabus that has been mentioned, but there are topics that we are aware of. And if you approach it in a systematic manner, solve questions topic wise so that all the topics are covered. Sometimes when you do only the previous year papers, there are only major topics that have occurred again and again would be covered. But to touch upon all the topics, it's important to, give a certain, you have to dedicate that time and practice all the questions from different topics. Give a mocks repeatedly. That would actually give you an idea about how you're performing and how you can improve. So, and definitely in 2 months, you can score very well. I would also recommend that you go to our SCMHRD rookie page and solve those questions that we are posting every day, because they are really good questions. They are of both easy, moderate, difficult, all the difficulty levels. And they would give you a good practice of each and every topic that has a chance of coming in the SNAP examination.
We have another question in the chat. What are the chances of getting into the college if we don't have extra curriculum achievements?
If you do not have extracurricular achievement, see, first and foremost, there is no linkage of extracurricular achievement to your chance of entering the college, because it's completely you. When you talk about this, there's a criteria, there's a GD, person interview, and the VAT. So definitely you should be, you have to excel in those areas. And when talking about extracurricular activity, is just the one other thing that added to your resume. It's not complete thing. So when people ask, I don't have any extracurricular activity, or I don't have any some extravagant achievement, it is okay not to have, but you should be aware of what things you have done up till now. You should be able to convey your points really well in the interview, that what things you have done in your engineering or whatever background you are having. So these are certain things that can add a feather to your hat, nothing else. Like it is not something that your interview result is gonna depends on that. So it's completely you and how you're presenting your things that you have done in the past.
Yeah, and adding to that, not having an extracurricular achievement is perfectly fine, but to have an interest in something apart from academics is very important. There should be something of your, there would be something that you would be interested apart from academics. It can be anything as simple as, probably running, or maybe watching movies, listening to anything, reading books. It can be anything. You need not achieve something in that field, but then of course you can always mention your areas of interest, and that is how you show your different aspects of your personality.
Probably I'm one of that guy who didn't have any extracurricular achievements. Probably you can make it out from me. But still, yeah. So like Apurva was saying, I also mentioned that I like watching movies, and we actually ended up in the interview talking about a movie. So they were actually testing me out how am I thinking and how am I processing things. So they judge you as a person over there, like what is your mindset is like, and are you fit for MBA. That is all what the interview is all about. And although we'll delve into this thing a lot after your snap exam is over, we'll take multiple sessions for that as well. So let's go into the next question now. How do we prepare for quants? Yeah, this is the next question.
I think quants definitely, more than the concepts, there are shortcuts and tricks that are required to solve the questions, because you don't have a lot of time, 1 minute for one question. And sometimes quant does require a little more time than that. You don't have a calculator. You have to do the calculations all by yourself and then rechecking those calculations. Practice is something again that I would recommend. Also, there are several topics in quant. So just make sure that you know. For example, I think mixture and allegations is one topic that all the aspirants and I mean even me as an aspirant, I remember I was extremely scared of this topic because as soon as I would see milk and water questions, I would immediately switch to the next question. So don't be scared of ones. Learn the shortcuts, learn the formulas, and certain tricks that should be at the tip of your fingers, so that as soon as you see those questions, you are able to apply them and solve it. Sometimes even by looking at the numbers you can figure out the option. So that is how you, and that amount of confidence you get only after you solve those questions a lot. So it would be a topic wise practice of those questions. Learn the key tricks. That is important more than learning the actual concept behind the question, I feel.
Yeah, that is totally right. And we all suggest you guys to be in a position on the exam day that you just glance through the paper and all those questions you have seen them sometime before, right? It's the best position to be in a time intensive exam. That is why we push you guys a lot all the sessions we take. We tell you to take a lot of mocks. That is the essence of rookie as well. We want you to understand where you're lacking. We want you to solve multiple questions every day and understand where you're lacking so that you can identify those areas and rework on them. So make use of this opportunity, rookie opportunity, which is there in front of you. If you guys start solving questions from tomorrow, you'll understand how it will be useful to you. A lot of students have been solving with us these questions for a long time now, and I hope you guys make use of it as well. We have more questions. I think the chat is flooding with questions. I'll take one more. So somebody asks us how to improve speed because 60 questions, 60 minutes is hard, and I have 2 years of gap. What are my chances in top SIMB institutes? So two
I
parts
think
of the question. Yeah, Apurva, you're the right person to
I
take
think
this.
as soon as I heard the 2 years of gap, I can totally relate with this person. So even I have a 2 year gap after my graduation. I had also taken a 2 year break. Um, let me tell you that does not in any way affect your chances of getting admitted in the top institutes. Speaking from my experience itself, the panelists were extremely understanding of my situation. They, of course, the gap is clearly visible on your resume. There's nothing to hide whatsoever. It is only how you justify your gap years and state the things that you have done during that time. It can be a medical issue, the gap can be due to any other reason, but what you've actually done during that time matters. If you've done any course, you've done a small part-time job, it can be anything, but just justify why those why you took time off from your academic curriculum. Even if you're preparing for the MBA entrance examination, you just need to justify those. The gap years will not reduce your chances of getting admitted into the college, let me assure you that. Make sure that you perform so well in your other G pivot rounds, and that your performance should be the testament of your, that you have taken this break, and it should reflect in your the way you perform, that you were totally well versed with the current affairs, you're totally prepared for this examination, you're ready for pursuing MBA this year. That is how you can show the panelists that you are absolutely eligible of getting admitted into a top SIMB institute. So yeah, that was the part of the question I wanted to address. Pragati, you would like to take the first part?
So yeah, I mean, like, so somewhere gap is not something that will really hamper your chances. You should be really aware of what things you have done, in that particular 2 year. Obviously, it's not something that one can just prepare and doing preparation. He or she must be doing something to cover or just filling the day. So whatever things you're doing, it could be anything. You should be, you should be able to present it really well in front of the interviewer. And honestly speaking, this is something you should not be worried about. This is something after cracking CAT, after cracking snap or anything like that. This is not something you should be worry about at this point of time. At this point of time, you should be worried about how to get good percentile, because when talking about getting into top colleges, you really need good percentile, at least above 98 percentile. So you should be worried about taking that into consideration. After snap, definitely we'll cover various sessions like this: how to improve your profile, how to improve your resume, something like that. So you should focus on study part right now. This is what I'll suggest.
We have a unique question over here. So this is something we all have gone through as well. So Saksham asks, I'm not getting good marks in my CAT mocks. So is there any link with my SNAP exam?
Actually, I can totally relate to this, because at this point of time, exactly, 1 year ago, I was in the same dilemma. Like, what should I do? Because I was not, SNAP was my primary, SNAP was my primary exam that I was targeting to. But there are so many friends who are preparing for the CAT, and there's some peer pressure, and you get influenced. Oh, they are preparing for CAT, they are studying for CAT. So I should also, although I was well aware that my primary focus is SNAP, and I was not getting good marks in CAT, and that thing was reflecting because I was demotivated, and that was reflecting in my SNAP marks as well. So what I did was, this happened for the 8-10 days, and I was really disturbed. So what I did was, like, okay, I am well aware that I want to enter in symbiosis, and then why I'm worrying about my CAT scores? It is okay if I'm scoring less, because that is something I'm not paying attention to. So what is my target is SNAP. So I started, I just increased the frequency of giving SNAP mocks and analyzing it. So this is something that you have to maintain a trade-off in between. You should understand what is your important, what is important for you. If it is SNAP, it is CAT, then just pay attention to it only. If SNAP was for me, you have to figure out for you. So this is something I would like to suggest.
Yeah, just
So
adding to that. So CAT and SNAP examinations are two really different worlds, and if you compare them, it's completely different, because CAT number of questions, the weightage, the positive, negative, everything is different. The difficulty level is different. SNAP is a different ball game altogether. So you comparing the scores that you score in during the CAT mocks is not fair. If you compare that performance, that would no way be a parameter of judging you how you will perform in the SNAP examination. So please do not get demotivated while giving CAT mocks. It is completely different. If you're focused at SNAP, give the SNAP mocks and then evaluate your performance, because that wouldn't be fair to yourself. So yeah, Saksham, to answer your question.
Yeah. We have last two questions for the day. The first question goes is, what are your suggestions to score 100% marks in LR section? The last section is quite long, right? 25 questions. So people have to score good marks. So what did you guys do to get best out of the last section?
I think identifying the topics, for example, certain topics like blood relations, they were my favorite topics. So I would always make it a point that I attempt those questions first and take very less time. Similarly, there are certain questions like the pattern one, the number pattern. Sometimes you can immediately identify the pattern, and sometimes it takes a while. So I'd suggest keep those questions for the end, because it might so happen that during the mock, you were able to crack all those pattern questions, but you never know what comes in the real examination. So certain questions where the predictability of the question where you can identify is less, just keep that at the end. Attempt the rest of the questions, identify your topics of strength and approach the section in that manner. Also place the section in such a way that you get sufficient amount of time, more amount of time as compared to the other section, the verbal and quantitative, given the fact that this section has the maximum amount of weightage. So you have to place this section such that you dedicate a good amount of time while attempting the paper.
That's great. So one last question we have for the day is, what should be your ideal attempts in the exam to score enough for SIBM and SCMHRD is what the question is. So yeah.
Honestly speaking, there is no metric to gauge, right? What is the ideal number of attempts? It's completely what is your speed and what is like how much accuracy you are having. For example, you are solving, let's say, 45 question, and you just got one or two questions wrong. Still, you are having at least 40 plus marks in your bag, right? But let's say if you're solving 50 question and you are having mark 10 questions wrong, you'll be having a lot more in the negative. So you should be well aware that okay, my marks should be at least over 40 plus marks is considered to be decent marks. As you know, we are not even aware of what marks did we score, because the CHRD just releases your percentile and that's it. So we are not even aware that how much marks we scored. But I can tell you by my experience, like 40 plus marks is something that you should target for. And again, you should have a proper metric between your speed and your accuracy. So whatever question you are targeting, you should be well, okay, fine, I can just afford one or two questions to be wrong. That's it. So this is something you have to take your decision while solving mock.
I totally agree with Pragati in the sense that it depends on the paper, it depends on a lot of things, it depends on your accuracy as well. But I would suggest you to answer a good amount of questions, maybe something around the number 50, because you have to get at least 45 marks around to be safe, which going with the last year's difficulty level. If your paper comes out a bit easier, so you can safely add more marks to that number which I'm telling you. So it's totally dependent on the paper. It's important that you stay north of 98 percentile. Yes, right?
Also, like if we just mention, I mean, topic wise speaking, if verbal, there are 15 questions, right? So try and attempt more than 12 questions. For quantitative, there are 20 questions, so try and attempt more than 16 questions. And for logical, out of 25, try and attempt more than 22 questions. Anywhere, if you lack, I mean, if you can't attempt 22 questions in logical and only 20, make sure you make it up in the verbal section or in the quantitative section. So that is how you need to adjust and get a total of about 48 to 50 questions attempt. And that too, not a wrong, correct number of attempt, because a score of 44 plus would be a very safe score for getting a decent percentile and getting admitted into the top SIMB colleges. So that is how, yeah, that is my suggestion.
Before we break for the day, I would tell you guys one more thing. Make use of the rookie event, which is coming live from tomorrow. make use of the topics. We'll be listing out topics every day, which topics we have covered in that particular day. So all the topics we'll try our best to cover. And I suggest you guys to solve the questions. It would take you 10 minutes at max. And don't just solve the questions and leave it there. Try and understand where you're lacking and what type of questions you're not being able to solve. And please go back and answer sectional mocks or sectional questions that are end of your chapter. Go ahead and solve all of them. Take help of your teachers. Make use of everything to get into an MBA college. Don't leave anything behind. Okay. And also, one more thing, we are dropping a link of our WhatsApp groups in the chat. You can join us, WhatsApp and Telegram groups. We are active over there and we'll take up your queries, and you can always ping us and we will definitely help you through your preparation. Okay. Have a nice day. I would also thank Pragati and Apurva for joining today's discussion and helping me out actually.